Hey babes, I'm back with another YouTube video, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make your acrylic nails look super natural. Today I'm using these full coverage XXL square nail tips, and I did get these from Amazon. These will be on my Amazon storefront, and they'll also be in the description box below, as well as everything else I used in this video. So first I'm filing the surface of the nail, and I only do this so that when I'm finished shaping this, I could actually see what it looks like, because it's way harder to see it if it's clear. At least in my opinion. So right after I'm finished doing that, I'm just going to start to taper in the sides. And I used to cut down a full coverage tip and then place an extra long nail tip on top of it. But with these, of course, you don't have to do that. So we saving some time. These nail tips do run big, so you'll have to go down a size, and even for me, I went down a size because like I said, these are a little big. So when it comes to actually sending these to customers, you may want to create a sizing kit or have them measure their fingernails, and just remember to go down a size when you're using these. So by mistake, my camera was not recording, but luckily I was able to show you guys how I do the cuticle area. So when you're doing the cuticle area, you'll actually want to place the bead away from the cuticle area instead of directly on top, and then you'll want to brush it up. For some reason, when you do it this way, it does not shrink, and I actually learned that on TikTok. I forgot who said that, but when I tried it for myself, it actually does work. So if you decided to place your bead right on top of where your clients, I keep saying clients, to where your customers' cuticles will be, it's gonna shrink, and it's gonna be a little harder for them to, put it on and press it down. If you feel like there's not enough color in the area, just go back and repeat these steps. You guys are going to see me do this a few times because I did feel like it was a little too thin. But like I said, you don't want to just apply that acrylic right on top of where the nail starts. And you guys may see me do that on one of the nails by mistake. And I do believe that was the only nail that shrunk just a little bit, but I kind of feel like I saved it in time. But yeah, y'all. Next, I'm using my Valentino Perfect Nude, and after applying my bead, I'm just going to make sure that all of that acrylic is on top of the nail before I start to bring it down. So I'm just going to do this very smoothly, just be very light with the brush, and you can just go sidewall to sidewall, just gradually going over the nail so that everything comes out evenly. People ask me how do I keep this shape when I'm applying my acrylic, and this is how. You just want to make sure that you're taking care of the acrylic on the sidewall, so when you're finished, you won't have too much reshaping to do. Here I'm placing my second bead, and I'm also going to start to brush this bead back in the opposite way because this bead was a little big. Just as before, when you're ready to apply that acrylic in the cuticle area, you want to place it away from the edge of the nail and then start to brush it forward. For these next two nails, I'm gonna do ombre nails, and I should have used a little less yellow since I will be capping this nail in clear. Because I made this part a little too thick, I did have to later file down the nail after I did the nude and capped the design with clear. I also don't normally blend the acrylic up when I'm doing my ombre, but I would recommend this when you're using these full coverage sieves, because of course you don't want this to be too thick. Here you guys can see I did not do that, so I did have to later apply a little more of the nude to make sure that that harsh line did not show. So I do recommend that you blend it instead of leaving it how I left the yellow. This yellow acrylic powder is also from Chisel, and y'all, I kid you not, when I start to run out of my Nail by John acrylic, it's out of here. Like, I love Nail by John's acrylic, but I really like Chisel, and I think it's because it dries just a little quicker, and Nail by John and a few of the other brands I used are for beginners, and I don't really move super slow anymore. Like, I don't need slow setting acrylic, so that's why I really like Chisel. So I will link down below where you can get this acrylic powder if you are interested in trying it out. Very lightly, I'm just going to start to blend that down again, and I do apologize if my camera is going in and out of focus. So far I was looking okay, but I did want to go back in just a little more with some more of my nude acrylic because I felt like it was a little too thin. For this nail, I'll also be doing another ombre nail, and I did cap that previous nail with clear, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it with this nail. So about 2 months ago, I had a client pretty much tell me she couldn't make her upcoming appointment, and she wanted to know if she could reschedule for the following month. Now, at the time, the following month wasn't open. So I told her, hey, just let me know when you're ready to reschedule after my booking's open, and I'll go ahead and book it for you and just reschedule your next appointment. But instead of her doing that, she ended up just booking on the site again, so she paid 2 deposits. Now, we had this conversation through iMessage, through text, like not through DMs. So when she DM'd me and was reminding me about it, I was kind of confused, but I just figured, okay, like whatever, I wasn't tripping about it. Like, I'll still take the money off, because she just had asked, hey, are you still gonna take whatever amount of money off? And I'm kind of like, I told her that. Like, I was kind of confused, so I'm kind of like, hey, what you mean? And she was explaining it to me, but instead of just saying, hey, like I had paid an extra deposit, she kind of worded it weirdly. So I was just super confused, and I was just like, all right, girl, like that's cool, I'm gonna see you soon. So maybe another 3 weeks passed, and now it's time for her appointment, and I see these messages in the DMs. Remember, we originally spoke about this through iMessage, and I don't know if she changed her number maybe, but I couldn't find the messages. So I was just like, all right, maybe she'll like re-explain when she gets here, I guess, because the message still was confusing. Like, just the whole way she worded it, I'm just kind of like, what is she talking about? So I do her nails. They came out super pretty. Keep in mind, like at the beginning of the service, she kept asking me what I was gonna do because she booked a freestyle, and I was trying to explain to her, like I don't know. And when I'm about to freestyle and clients show me a photo, it kind of makes me feel like, okay, that's clearly what you want. And if I try to freestyle around that, like I just don't like doing that. Like, I'd rather y'all just let me do me, so I can give you something crazy, something nice, than me looking at a picture and now the whole time I'm freestyling, this photo is in the back of my head. Like, I just really don't like that. Nonetheless, I gave her a bomb freestyle, and I did still end up, kind of copying the picture that she showed me, because I just be nervous that if I do something else, you may not like them just because you showed me something. You know what I mean? Anyways, so finished her nails. She paid for them. I asked her, they good? Everything okay? And she said, yeah. Keep in mind, she added like some charms, so I did upcharge her. So she leaves, everything is good, everything is okay. And I believe her appointment was at 12 p.m. Listen, 12 p.m. Later that night, I went to sleep early and I woke up around 12 and I had seen that I got a DM. So normally I don't answer DMs until the next morning, but when I read the first sentence, I'm gonna just read it to y'all. She said, what happened to the $20 off? Which I'm pretty sure she meant $35 because the deposit is $35. She goes, I should have only paid you $35, but hey, maybe you need the money more than me. You're welcome. ... But bad business won't get you anywhere, sweetie. Good luck with your little business. Karma always wins. That's what she says to me. Keep in mind, like I said, y'all, I'm just waking up. So I'm reading it. I'm like, what is she talking about? I'm going back to our messages and I'm like, even here, what is she talking about? Because like I said, the way she explained it, it wasn't clicking to me. So I'm like, is she talking about a deposit? Because she said $20. My deposit is $35. So I'm like, maybe she's talking about the deposit. So I'm not gonna lie, I got extremely mad. But I'm sitting here like, okay, this is clearly a misunderstanding. Let me just explain and then we'll see where we want to go from here. Because instantly this message, you're trying to attack me and I don't like that. So let me tell y'all. Putting a little quick pause in the story, I did go underneath the nail as well to finish removing all that blue stuff, and I'm using a fine sanding band. So I'm just doing this one nail right now because I did want to see how the finished look was going to be. I was a little impatient, especially because it was my first time using this method, and it made a very large difference in how my press-ons look when you apply them. I'm actually going to show you guys what they looked like in my last acrylic press-on nail video I did versus now, because they definitely look 10 times better. So right here, I'm just going to file on the surface of the nail, and this is how I'm going to debulk the nail because it's not too thick. All right, y'all, so back to the story. Let me tell y'all what I said, how I handled it. Keep in mind, when I was typing this, I had to back type and delete multiple times because I'm like, okay, how do I respond to this in like the most respectful way possible? Because even though she really just tried to attack me, like I don't want to come off like that and start an argument for no reason, when like I said, this is clearly a misunderstanding. So y'all, this is what I said. I said, why didn't you remind me? I don't need any extra money. If you had an issue with something, you could have told me and I would have had no problem taking the money off because it was an honest mistake. The business was never little. You do not have to disrespect me in order to get your point across. And please send me your Cash App and I will refund you back that $35 for that deposit. Right? That's what I said. Nice, calm, simple. Because I don't like that. Like, don't try to belittle me because you're upset. I hate when people do that. That doesn't make sense. Because it's not like, she texted me like, hey, what happened to that money? That was off and stuff. And I was like, that's my money. Like, like it's not like I gave her a reason to come off, so aggressively. She replied back her Cash App and said, I didn't say anything because it seemed like I kept having to beg you about it. And the last few times it seemed like you had an issue with me or something. I understand that this is your business and you don't owe me anything, but I go based off vibes. And I told you I don't like switching nail techs. This response made zero sense to me because she's only been in my chair one time, right? So I'm like, when were you begging me and when was I giving you these bad vibes? Like, what is she talking about? The only thing I could possibly think of is maybe when she reminded me about the deposit some weeks prior and I was confused because she worded it funny and I was asking her to explain. Because her first appointment, she came, she sat down, we was vibing, laughing, and scream laughing the whole time. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm so confused. I responded, how are you begging me? I'm honestly confused. Nonetheless, you should have communicated. I know I was quiet during the last appointment, but I didn't think it would give you a bad vibe that would cause you to come at me in such a manner. Medium nails are a little harder for me, so I was just focusing, and you had in headphones. Though I understand your money will be returned. Medium nails are a little harder for me though. Normally when I do get medium nail clients, I do try to focus as much as possible. And since she had in headphones and was just, giggling on TikTok, I was just like, you know what? I could just, shut up today, be quiet, do these nails, and we can call it a day. So she ended up responding and she said, maybe it's me. I don't know. I apologize for coming at you like that. I just felt tried. I'm a little more sensitive with this stuff because my past experiences with nail techs, but it's not your fault. Thank you for being mature about it. All right, another quick little pause on the story right here. I'm just painting my nails with some matte top coat, and I am going to use some white gel polish to create one line design, and then I'm going to pour some raw glitter on top of it. I'm not going to lie to y'all, I did go ahead and ban old girl from booking because the conversation, not even the conversation, the first message really took me out. Not only did you tell me I needed an extra $35 and said you're welcome, you also called my business little and you wished karma on me and said I had bad business. Like, you did all of that instead of just being like, hey, what happened to the $35? Because like I said, it would have been different if she mentioned it and I said no, that was forfeited, you cannot use that $35. Then okay, if you wanted to get mad, then whatever. But that wasn't the case. This is how you started the conversation instead of just coming to me like an adult and being like, hey, remember you said you was going to take that extra $35 off. And I would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me do that right now. Let me get you some change. That would have been it. But instead, you do all of this and now you can't book me anymore. You talking about you don't want to find another nail tech. Well, now you got to find another nail tech because you can't communicate. But I had to tell you that because I was honestly upset. I'm not going to lie. Like when I woke up in the middle of the night and I read that, the fact that I was so confused and then later realized that she was talking about a deposit that I should have took off. I'm like, is she serious? Like, did you really just do all of that instead of just being like, hey girl, you forgot earlier. And her appointment was at 12 p.m. It is now 12 a.m. and you're texting me this. So you thought about this all day and then text me in the middle of the night. I really did have to choose my words wisely though, because that could have turned into something completely unnecessary, and it was already unnecessary. So honestly, whenever you do have like these little incidents with clients, I honestly just recommend killing them with kindness, because I'm like, let me just politely respond to this and let her know that this isn't that. Like, even if you have had bad experiences with other service providers, you do not come into someone else's chair and assume they are that person. That's like getting a new man and being like, oh babe, like I only assumed that because my last man did that. He's not your last man. Like you didn't know if he was gonna do that. You didn't even know. I did go ahead and glue my butterflies down using my diamond gel from a cart. And right here, I'm going to create my flowers. And for the center of the flowers, I'm going to use my chisel acrylic powder again. So I was just placing small beads of acrylic, and you do really want to make sure that these beads are kind of dry, not too dry to where they're not going onto the nail, but you do not want it to spread once it touches the nail. So that's why you guys have seen me kind of push it inwards a little bit to stop it from spreading out. Now when I'm creating my flowers, I'm using my Mia Secret white acrylic powder, and it dries super quickly, so it is perfect for doing 3D flowers. So right here, I'm just going to use the tip of my brush to start to create my petal, and I'm just going to apply pressure towards the middle of the bead. Once again, I'm placing another bead, and I'm going to make sure that the tip of my brush is pointy before I start to press down, because I do not want the bottom of my flower to be wide. So I'm just going to take the very tip of my brush and start to apply pressure towards the center of the bead once again, but towards the middle of the flower. These flowers came out super, super cute. But I really don't understand why people wait for them to leave to say something. Like, people will pay you and then leave and then be like, hey, can I get some extra stones? Like, girl, why didn't you say something when you were here? Now I have to put you back into my schedule. Like, people just don't seem to be too considerate with other people's time. I loved how these came out, and I did go ahead and add some Chanel charms and some 3D butterflies, once again using my diamond gel from my cart. I also forgot to tell you guys when I'm going to announce the winner. So I'm going to announce the winners to the giveaway on the 27th. If you missed the little giveaway video, it is still up there and you can still enter if you're interested. So I'm going to link that down below. And if you did enjoy this YouTube video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you in the next video.